Back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is a wildly unpredictable Thursday afternoon here, and honestly, my head is still spinning from the latest Genoa City drama. Grab a coffee or a strong drink or whatever you need, because we have a massive amount of chaos to unpack today. Let's just jump right into the matter. So let's talk about the Abbott mansion. The supposedly impenetrable, highly secure Abbott mansion. I mean, honestly, what are they paying their security team for these days? Because this is getting absolutely ridiculous. Jack Abbott is supposed to be recovering, and he just survived a horrific, bloody stabbing by Patty Williams. And you would think the family would have armed guards at every single door and window. But no, of course not. Because then we wouldn't have the absolute heart-stopping drama that just went down. And I am still shaking just thinking about it. I really am. Let's rewind a bit to set the stage. Diane Jenkins Abbott has been through the absolute ringer lately. She was held hostage in that creepy, isolated clinic by Dr. Lawrence Markham. And we all know now, thanks to Tracy's incredibly brave and terrifying confrontation at the mental facility, that Markham is actually Martin Laurent, the psychotic twin brother, the man who tortured Tracy and Ashley. So Diane is already on it. She is traumatized. She is suffering from severe PTSD from being locked up and gaslit by this absolute maniac. But she is also fiercely, fiercely protective of Jack. Right? She almost lost him to Patty's blade, and she is not about to let him out of her sight for a single second. And thank God for that, because Markham is not done. He is not done at all. The guy is a total psychopath, and he is obsessed with finishing whatever twisted game he started. So what does he do? He sneaks into the Abbott mansion. He actually manages to infiltrate the house. He disguises himself as a newly hired nurse or physical therapist, which, again, brings me back to my rant about Abbott security. Who vetted this guy? Did Kyle check his credentials? Did Ashley? Anyone? It is just mind-boggling how easily these villains can slap on some scrubs, forge a fake ID badge, and walk right into the home of one of the richest and most powerful families in. It makes no sense. But I guess we just have to roll with it for the sake of the. But okay, let's focus on the scene itself, because it was incredibly tense. Masterfully done, really. Jack is in his recovery room. He is weak, he is vulnerable. He is lying there, probably heavily medicated, just trying to heal from a literal stab wound that almost ended his life. And in walks this therapist. Markham is playing the part perfectly. He has the medical chart, he has the uniform, he has that chillingly calm, clinical demeanor that just makes your skin crawl if you know who he really is. He approaches Jack's bed, and for an agonizing second, you think he is actually going to get away with it. You really do, because Jack is completely defenseless. He is asleep or out of it, and he has no idea that the devil himself is standing up. But then there's Diane. Diane, who has been hovering around that house like a protective hawk. She walks into the room, or maybe she's just observing from the doorway at first, and you can see the exact moment the alarm bells go off in her head. The writers did a really good job building the suspense here. Diane is watching this new therapist, and she notices something is off. Maybe it is the way he moves. Maybe it is the way he is looking at. Not with the clinical detachment of a medical professional, but with this dark, malicious intent. Or maybe she just recognizes his eyes. Because remember, Tracy said there was something terrifying in his eyes. Diane knows those eyes. She stared into them when she was his. She knows the face of her captor, even if it is hiding behind a surgical mask and a fake name tag in jail. So Diane starts to investigate. She doesn't just scream right away. She watches, she calculatingly tries to figure out what is happening. And honestly, I have to give Diane some serious credit here. I know we all have a complicated history with Diane. I mean, she faked her own death. She framed Nikki for murder. She abandoned Kyle for a decade. I used to hate her. I really did. Sometimes I still question her motives and wonder if she is playing some long game. But in this moment, she is pure survival instinct. She is a woman who loves her husband and will do anything to protect him. Maybe I'm being too soft on her. Maybe I am forgetting all the terrible things she has done, but you can't deny her bravery in this specific situation. And then it happened. The mask slips. Markham realizes Diane is onto him. He realizes he doesn't have much time. He drops the act completely. The fake physical therapist persona vanishes, and the psychotic Martin Laurent emerges in full force. He pulls out a syringe, a lethal injection. He is going to kill Jack right there in his own bed. It is a horrifying parallel to what Patty tried to do with the digitalis. It is like Jack simply cannot. Everyone wants to inject this poor man with poison. What is it with Genoa City villains? It is like their go-to weapon of choice. It is getting a little repetitive, but it is still terrible. So Markham raises the syringe. He is about to plunge it into Jack's IV line or straight into it. And Diane just snaps. She doesn't hesitate. She doesn't run out into the hallway to scream for help. She literally throws herself. Diane Jenkins Abbott, the former scheming socialite who used to manipulate men for money, turns into an absolute warrior. She lunges across the room and tackles Markham. The physical struggle is intense. It is brutal. They are knocking over medical equipment, crashing into trays. The sound of glass shattering echoes through the room. It is a full-on, desperate brawl in the middle of Jack's recovery room. And you have to remember the physical disparity. Markham is a dangerous, unhinged man. He is desperate and he is cornered. Diane is fighting for Jack's life, but she is also putting her own life in extreme danger. She is grappling with a psychopath who has a needle full of death in it. Every single second of this fight is terrifying. You are just waiting for the needle to accidentally stick someone. Will it hit Jack in the crossfire while he is lying there, helpless? Will it hit Diane as they wrestle on the floor? My heart was in my throat watching. It is clunky, it is messy, it is real. It doesn't look like a choreographed Hollywood fight scene. It looks like a desperate, chaotic struggle for survival. But why is Markham doing this? What is his actual end game? We know he was working with Patty. Patty paid him off. Patty wanted Diane out of the picture so she could have Jack all to her. But Patty is locked up now. Patty had her courtroom meltdown and her bail was denied. So is Markham doing this out of some twisted loyalty to Patty? Or is this personal? I think it is personal. I think Markham's fractured psyche, his Martin Laurent persona, is obsessed with control. Diane escaped him. She drugged him and she ran away. A narcissist like Martin cannot handle losing control of his victim. He wants to punish Diane. And what better way to punish her than by killing the man she loves right in front of her? It is sick. It is truly sick. And it makes you wonder about the broader implications for the Abbott. This family cannot catch a break. Tracy just put herself through absolute psychological hell to uncover his identity at the mental facility. Ashley flew back from Paris in a total panic, ready to go to war to protect her brother. Kyle is already on a dark revenge path against Victor Newman, making shady deals with Patty and this family is under siege from all sides. And now the war has literally entered their sanctuary. The Abbott mansion has been breached. If Diane doesn't win this fight, Jack dies. If Diane loses, she dies. The stakes could not possibly be higher. Let's talk about the fans on social media first, because Twitter and the message boards are exploding right now. Half the fans are screaming that Diane is finally redeeming herself. They are saying this is the ultimate proof of her love for Jack, that she is willing to take a lethal injection for him, that she is putting her own body between him and a killer. And you know what? They might be right. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. If a woman is willing to wrestle a syringe-wielding psychopath to save you, she probably loves you. But then the other half of the fans are saying this is exactly what Diane deserves for all her pain. That karma is finally catching up to her and she is just reaping what she sowed. I don't know. I am torn. But watching her fight Markham, I was definitely cheering for her to win. So the struggle continues on screen. Diane is holding on to Markham's arm with everything she has, trying to keep the needle away from Jack and away from herself. Markham is overpowering. He is pushing her back. He is vicious. He is probably taunting her while he does it. You know how these villains are. They love to monologue even when they are in the middle of a murder attempt. He is probably whispering in her ear about how Jack is going to die and then she is going to be next. Diane is screaming for help, but the house is huge. Where is Kyle? Where is Tracy? Where is the useless security guard who let this guy in? It is just Diane standing between Jack, and this is where the episode leaves us hanging. Diane in mortal peril. Jack unconscious or too weak to help. Markham closing in with a lethal dose. It is the ultimate cliffhanger. What were the writers thinking leaving us like this on a weekday? I am going to lose my mind waiting for the next episode. Will Kyle burst through the door at the last second to save his mother? Will Jack suddenly find a burst of adrenaline and knock Markham out? Or will the needle find its mark and send someone to the morgue? I honestly don't know. The show has been taking some really dark, unpredictable turns lately, so anything is possible. But let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. This storyline is pushing all the characters to their absolute. We have Victor Newman losing his mind and liquidating Nikki's assets, having a total mental breakdown. We have Nick discovering Matt Clark is actually a Newman, which is a whole other level of crazy. And now we have Jack and Diane fighting off assassins in their own bedroom. Genoa City is a literal war zone. The writers are just throwing everything at the wall, and honestly, a lot of it is sticking. It is chaotic, it is messy, but it is incredibly compelling television. You can't look away. I just keep thinking about what this means for Diane's character arc moving forward. If she survives this, and let's be real, she probably will because she is Diane Jenkins and she always survives. She is going to be hailed as a hero by the Abbotts. Jack will never be able to doubt her loyalty again. This could be the thing that finally solidifies their marriage once and for all, erasing all the doubts about her past. Or it could leave her so traumatized that she spirals out of control. Who actually believes this is going to end well without some massive emotional fallout? Trauma like this doesn't just go away. Look at Tracy. Look at Sharon. Look at Nick. The scars remain long after the physical wound. And what about Markham? If he is caught, does he go to prison or does he end up in a padded cell next to Patty Wood? Imagine those two teaming up in a psychiatric facility. That is a nightmare waiting to happen. But right now, he is a clear and present danger. And the fact that he was able to just waltz into the Abbott home shows that nobody is, not even the billionaires with their private security force. It makes you wonder who else might be vulnerable. If Markham can get to Jack, who is to say Matt Clark can't? The villains are running the asylum right now. So yeah, that is where we are at. A completely insane, adrenaline-fueled showdown in the Abbott mansion. Diane risking it all, Markham proving he is the ultimate monster. And me sitting here typing furiously because I just cannot process how wild this show has gotten. I need a nap or a drink, probably both. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Diane will save Jack? Will Markham finally be stopped? Will Kyle show up in time? I will be back tomorrow to recap whatever madness happens next. Until then, stay safe out there and maybe double check your own security systems, because clearly the ones in Genoa City are absolutely worthless.